Hey everyone, before we get started learning more about Duke University, we wanted to let you know that you can calculate your chances of admission at Duke and other schools with your free CollegeVine account. Start by completing your chanting profile with information such as your GPA, test scores, and extracurricular activities. From there, you can use CollegeVine's Hub tool to see your chances and information about the school, such as cost, majors, and more. Visit the link in the description below to sign up and see your chances today.
So in terms of diversity, Duke practices affirmative action in order to create a more diverse campus environment. However, the exclusivity of student organizations can be felt sometimes pretty tangibly. So speaking from personal experience, I went to a high school where any student who had any interest in a club could sign up and join that club and participate fully as a member. But at Duke, there are some student organizations that are very popular or selective in other ways, and it can feel a bit intimidating as a freshman to get involved. But I do encourage you to stick with it and really try to put yourself out there and get involved, because while it may seem a little bit exclusive at first to get involved in different student organizations, it definitely is worthwhile to find your community on campus. There have been recent movements to reform housing and Greek life. One criticism coming from Duke students is that once Duke students become affiliated with certain groups, it kind of undermines the diversity at Duke, and that you are limited to interacting with a certain group of self-selecting peers during your time at Duke. And the goal of creating a diverse student body is to maximize engagement between students from different backgrounds. So there has been a lot of action on this front and a lot of debate. And in response to the recent protests, as I recently mentioned, the Duke administration committed to a few agenda items, including expanding diversity among faculty, staff, and students, and other forms of support and opportunities on campus to foster that culture of inclusivity. So at a high level, breaking down the student body by various demographic factors, you can see that around half of students are Caucasian, and a little less than a third are Asian American, Pacific Islander. There are a lot of students of color on campus, but obviously a lot of progress can be made in the future going forward in expanding the diversity that Duke is hoping to push forward. And so this is just, these are statistics that you can find online, but I think it is valuable to share them here to give you a better sense of what the student body looks like. Other demographic factors include around half of students receive financial aid, and a handful are first generation college students, as well as international students from many countries around the world. And as I mentioned before, North Carolina is the #1 home state among incoming freshmen. And here you see the other four as well. So in terms of economic diversity, Duke claims to meet 100% of a student's demonstrated financial need, and this is based on the financial aid application process. The average need-based grant was over $50K a couple years ago, and Duke does a lot to try to level the playing field for students coming from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, but in line with some of its peer institutions, the student body is skewed upwards in terms of socioeconomic status, and this can be felt acutely by students from low socioeconomic backgrounds. And just to give you an idea of what this looks like, according to a New York Times profile from a few years back, the median family income was around 186K, and around a little less than 2/3 of the student body hail from the top 20% in terms of family income. So as I said, financial aid it seeks to be that kind of equalizer between students from various backgrounds, but it's not always perfect. And this is a challenge that Duke recognizes and that students are aware of. So a lot of on-campus resources are available to support students, including the Center for Multicultural Affairs, Duke Life, Mary Lou, and International House and the Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity. And these centers are really key to providing a safe space for students who identify with any one of those groups or just want to find a group of peers who are on the same page as them as they navigate their undergraduate experience. But on the whole, speaking from personal experience, and I would say that the experiences of those around me, you will find an open and inclusive environment on campus. And it is possible to meet students from various backgrounds. You're not limited to socializing with peers who are similar to you. And in that sense, I think Duke and Duke students really try to live up to that culture of diversity and inclusivity on campus.